Hello everybody, this is King Zoo 6117 coming at you with a new video today. Today we're actually getting into Pokemon Draft League content, but before I actually get into the video, I have some like housekeeping sort of things. First and foremost, as of right now, I'm in 3 draft leagues and 1 randomized tournament. And what I want to do with it, or I don't know what I want to do with those as far as uploading them. As of right now, I have 6 videos a week, 6 different days taken, 1 open day. So I don't know if I'm going to spread out the battles and whatnot throughout the week. I don't know if I'm going to dedicate that one day to like kind of Pokemon Draft League content or anything like that. I just kind of don't know what direction I want to take the channel at this point in time, just because I'm sort of doing everything at a very casual level. As long as things are fun, I'm going to keep doing them, I guess, sort of thing. Now, actually getting into the part of the video, the part that you're actually here for. This is the Ho-Ho division of the Rainbow Rocket Draft Association. This is the league that I mentioned that I was a helper in. And at first, I sort of kind of wanted to, because the draft sort of started at the same time, I wanted to kind of draft like dueling, sort of like opposing Pokemon for the different rounds. So for the first 2 rounds, the other round, the Lugia division, which is the top division, the higher tier division, I took Mega Glade with the first overall pick. And in this draft, I actually had the 5th overall pick, where I took Mega Gardevoir. Now, after this, I completely stopped the sort of dueling like dichotomy of the different teams because the drafts kind of went ahead at very different paces, and for the entirety of the draft, I had to work at least 8 hours a day. So a lot of the draft took place while I was at work. Unfortunately, that meant that I had to, sort of scour the document to see, the first thing that kind of caught my eye in like a, 3-minute segment or something like that because I couldn't slink away for too long. But it is what it is. Now, actually talking about the draft, Mega Gardevoir was Mega Gardevoir was the first overall pick, and it was 17 points. Now, I probably should have flipped my first round pick and my second round pick just in terms of viability and whatnot, but it is what it is. I took Mega Gardevoir first. Mega Gardevoir has a pretty good 100 base speed tier. I feel like that's very average as far as offensive Pokemon go, but it is what it is. What it does do great is this base 165 special attack. No, it does have an amazing 135 special defense, but it has a pretty low 68 base HP. But it is what it is. As far as what Gardevoir wants to do, or Mega Gardevoir is going to do a lot of breaking, hopefully. We have a, very second move right there. We have Calm Mind, so we can sort of set up stuff like that. If they don't have any sort of Dark type or any Pokemon that resists Psychic, we can do a Stored Power set or something like that. We have Taunt for anti-lead sort of stuff. We have Teleport for switching and whatnot. We have Will-O-Wisp and Toxic and Thunder Wave if we want status options. But I think that Mega Gardevoir is going to be a lot of 4 attacking, Calm Mind 3 attacking sort of setup Pokemon. Just kind of how I guess I envision myself using it in the future. But I'm going to pause right here and get back to you with my second round pick. For my second overall pick, or second round pick, I should say, I actually selected Garchomp. Now, Garchomp does a lot in terms of what it can viably do. Looking at its its lowest stat is base 80, which, is kind of low for attacking stat. But, if we want to run Specs Draco or something like that, or a mixed set with like Life Forever Expert Belt or whatever the case may be, it's still technically a viable option. As far as set options go, Sword Stand Scale Shot is an amazing setup sweeper. But Garchomp doesn't necessarily have to be pigeonholed into an offensive role. Garchomp has, Stealth Rocks. Garchomp can be a pretty good passive mon. We have Dragon Tail, something is trying to set up in front of us, or anything like that. We have Home Claws for another setup option. We have Roar, Rest if we wanted to, sort of recover. Toxic, a sub toxic set with Protect, all as toxic as that might be to the battle, is still technically a viable option. But Garchomp can be any sort of wall it wants to. It can be, physically defensive, especially defensive. It can be like a fast lead with, HP and speed to set up hazards and kind of annoy any other Pokemon that wants to be a lead on the opposing team. Garchomp just does a lot of things, and that's what I kind of like about it. Uh, like I said earlier, I probably should have switched these two around in terms of viability when I talk about how I was drafting them, but it just sort of is what it is. Luckily, I got both of them. But I'll come right back at you with the third round pick, where this is where my plans actually went askew or astray. I guess astray is for sure the word I'm thinking of. For this draft, in general, specifically for this division, I wanted to have a very, very good Fairy Dragon Steel Core. I got that with Ferrothorn. It's amazing. It does what it does. Originally, this was supposed to be Celesteela, but somebody took it previously. And then I was told later in my shift at work that somebody had taken it already, so I had to do a repick. Um, I really just really wanted a steel type at this point in time. Celesteela was my first option. I took Magnezone in the other draft, so I really, really didn't want to kind of duplicate Pokemon. At least while I'm still very fresh into my draft league content. But Ferrothorn does give me an amazing, amazing, usually physical, but can be special. Not too big of a split there, but an amazing wall. Ferrothorn is here to be annoying. Ferrothorn is here to spread damage in very annoying ways. It has big iron barbs, uh, which basically any sort of physically contacting move, it loses an eighth of its HP. Maybe if I wanted to run a Rocky Helmet uh, to just kind of do all sorts of damage to whatever wants to touch me. As far as moves go, we have Body Press to take use of that big, big defense. We have Curse if we want a setup option. Endeavor. Explosion if we just want to do big, big damage. Iron Defense to go with that Body Press too. Iron Defense. Substitute Toxic Thunder Wave. It has spikes and stealth rocks, so it's a great hazards option. There we go. That's the word I'm thinking of. It has Rest for Recovery, Knockoff, and Leech Seed. It just does a lot of things very well. Usually, I like to play Mons in a way, way, way more offensive style, which I feel like Celesteela would have complemented a lot better than Ferrothorn. But I guess, beggars can't be choosers, and it's probably about time that I expand my repertoire of how I try to play. Now, it won't be pretty at times, but I'm trying. Another big thing is having mods with four times type weaknesses. Garchomp is 4 times weak to ice, and Ferrothorn is 4 times weak to fire. All that means is opposing coaches are going to have a harder time game planning for my team just because the weakness that my team has in general is diverse enough to force, serious prep. I'm not going to do too much serious prep on my part, but the opponent doesn't need to know that at that point in time. So if they want to rack their brains, struggle to, how they're going to break my team, especially if I bring a Wall Chomp and a Ferrothorn and some other mons, that's their problem, not mine. But I will be back shortly with my round 4 pick, where there was some other, mishaps as well. Now I changed my mind and I'm actually going to do these two picks at the same time. The reason why I'm doing round 4 and 5 at the same time is this was happening in real life concurrently with the other draft where I took my other water and fire types in that draft, which were Arcanine and Suicune. Those were the Pokemon I wanted on this team. But it is what it is. I knew I wanted a water and a fire type for both of my teams, and I messaged another coach in the draft to make my picks for me while I was sort of busy at work. I just messaged a coach in the wrong division, I guess. I completely thought that this was where I was going to make my next picks. But I think also at the same time in both leagues, my pick they were waiting on me to make my picks while I was at work. So I just kind of panicked, messaged the wrong coach, and it is what it is. I'm not upset at all with my team construction since this is sort of happening at the beginning half of the draft, but it definitely changes how I wanted to do things. But Darmanitan and Milotic can run very similar how I wanted to run Arcanine and Suicune. Arcanine, I love running Bandit just to do big damage with that extreme speed. And Darmanitan, as far as damage goes at least, is a way, way better option than Arcanine. Darmanitan has big, big, big 140 base attack. It's here to hit hard, and that's what it's here to do. It has sheer force, which makes it hit harder. I see myself using Darmanitan as a scarfed or a bandmon a lot of the times, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I guess it just sort of depends on who I'm facing and how I want to prep. But as far as what Darmanitan can do, it as far as hitting hard, it actually does have bulk up. Now it only has base 55 defense, which is real low, but it has a big 105 base HP, so that's not too bad. We obviously have our fire coverage with flare blades or fire punch, depending on if I want to take recoil or not. We have earthquake to do big damage to rocks and whatnot. We have rock slide for flying, superpower for fighting coverage, big U-turn, which will probably be important. And this also has a trio of sort of statusing moves. We have Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, and Yawn all doing different things. I don't know if I'll ever use Darmanitan in a defensive manner, but it's an option. And then as far as Milotic goes, I wanted a bulky water type in both of my draft leagues, and I very much got that. But Milotic is a wall in a different way, I guess. Milotic has, as far as ability goes, it has two, arguably three viable abilities. Marvel scale, if this Pokemon is status, its defense is 1.5 times. So looking at that, with the 79, it will be around 118, 120 base defense, which is still a little bit higher than Suicune's, but that kind of takes a little workaround to get there. It also has the competitive ability, which means that this can also be a little bit more offensive than Suicune can, because if this Pokemon has a stat lowered by a foe, its special attack is raised by 2 stages. So it's basically a special version of Defiant. So if we want to face a team that has webs or something like that, you know, we'll run in with the competitive athletic, maybe hit a big scald or something like that, whatever the case may be. But sort of kind of getting it back into it, we have offensive options in Coil and Dragon Dance. Maybe if this league ends up going, south real quick, maybe if I lose, a few weeks in a row and I sort of am turning to more wild options and sort of kind of surprise coaches, I could see myself doing something like that. But at the beginning, at least, my Melodic is probably going to be pretty passive. We have big flip turn for momentum. We have water and ice coverage for our special side, just to sort of hit hard. We have recover, rest, and protect for sort of tanky options. Throw substitute in there as well. And we also have toxic for, annoying stally sets. It is what it is. I think so far in my draft, I have one very good defensive Pokemon. Uh, in Ferrothorn, I have two pretty good offensive Pokemon in Mega Gardevoir and Darmanitan. And then I have Garchomp and Milotic that can kind of do whatever they want to do any given week. Whether they want to be passive and tanky, whether they want to be faster and hit hard, whatever the case may be. But I feel like as of the first five picks, I did use a lot of my points. We start off with 115 points. And how many points is this? So we got 17, 35, 51, 65, 78 points. So we definitely use the vast majority of our points in our first 5 months. But it is what it is. We only need 9 months to finish this team. But I will be back here shortly with round 6 for my pick. With round 6, I got Big Thundurus. Now, Thundurus, regular form, can do a lot of things. A lot of them are offensive things. I wanted something to come in. I wanted it to be fast. I believe this is the fastest amount on our team. And I wanted something to hit hard. This can, hit hard both physically and specially with its 115 and 125 base stats, respectively. As far as coverage goes, actually, before coverage, looking at abilities, we have Big Prankster. If we want to be more passive, throw off Thunder Waves or things like that. Or we have Defiant, which, pairs very well with Milotic's competitive. If I face a team that has a very bulky mon that wants to lower stats with sticky webs, which would work for Milotic but not Thunderous, but parting shot, things like that, whatever the case may be, Rock Tomb, uh, Milotic's going to get those bonuses. But Thunderous with Defiant, this raises its physical attack instead of its special attack. So, if I come in on an Intimidate Mon, which, very well goes true for Milotic as well, but whatever the case may be, Thunderous is here with the setup option, is basically all I'm trying to say. Speaking of setup options, we have Agility, we have Bulk Up, we have Nasty Plot, we have Substitute, a lot of things that Thunderous can do to set up. I needed a mon that was relatively fast, which, check 111 base speed. Probably isn't the best speed tier to have your fastest mon, but it is what it is. They're scarce for a reason, I guess. It definitely goes true for my opponents as well, but it is what it is. I guess it just goes to the level of prep each team will do, and I guess if it comes down to that, I'll probably lose most times, but it is what it is. As far as coverage goes, I will go over physical first, I guess. We have fighting with Brick Break, dark with Crunch. We have Hammer Arm for, slightly more damage on the fighting. Thunder Punch. Do we have just Thunder Punch or all the elemental punches? Just Thunder Punch. Foul Play. And then going into the special options, we have Dark Pulse, so another dark coverage. Obviously, electric. We have Flash Cannon, especially if we're facing bulky rock types and whatnot, or bulky ground types. They usually have a second typing that is usually weak to steel. We have Grass Knot if they're not. We have Knockoff, which is obviously a physical attack, but it's a very, very good utility attack. Psychic for that big coverage, Sludge Bomb, and Volt Switch and U-Turn, just in case we don't know how we're going to pivot out one week. If I imagine I will run pivoting a lot on Thunderous, but then again it just kind of goes towards the matchup. But Big Thunderous coming in, it's another mod that's not pigeonholed into one specific type of play style. It can kind of do what it wants when it wants, and that's just kind of how it's going to roll. This is another top mod if I want to do like an anti-lead sort of thing. If somebody has like Shuckle or another designated lead that's there to set up hazards and just kind of be annoying. But that's just kind of is what it is. We also have Defog. I don't know if I run Defog all that often, but it is a viable option. Now, I won't say that I necessarily am going to the low tier picks, but I definitely needed to stop using so many points because I used, I think I said 78 before, so Thunderous is 14, so that's about 92 points. So, I only have a very limited amount of points for the rest of my mods, so I needed to take mods that have good value and fill certain roles that I have not filled yet. But I will be back with. I think I will actually be back with the rest of the picks, just so that I can talk about why I wanted them. This was another time where I messaged somebody the mods that I wanted in order, and luckily, I guess, I got all of the mods I wanted, for better or for worse. But I will be back with the rest of the draft, I guess. And we are back. Now, looking at the rounding out of my team, just kind of back up so we can see it all together. We have Licky Licky, Persian Alola, Hitmonchan, and Stonejourner. Now, Licky Licky. I wanted a bulky normal type. That's about it. Licky Licky can do that. And I also really like Licky Licky because of its Oblivious ability. It is immune to taunt if I have that ability. So basically, what that means is if I want to run a passive Licky Licky with, I don't know what options, Heal Bell, Knockoff, Rest, Substitute, Toxic Wish, whatever the case may be, I know for a fact that I can get off those passive type attack or moves. With its base 110 HP, it's throwing off pretty fat wishes as well, which I really like. So, if I want to, send out Mega Gardevoir early in the battle, have it break a little bit, maybe later in the battle, if its status, does this get Heal Bell? Did I say that? Heal. If it gets status or something like that, Heal Bell. If it's low on HP, I got Wish. Whatever the case may be, Dr. Licky Licky's here to fix you up. That's just all that is. As far as attacking option goes, it has 85 attack and 80 special attack. So, both very, very serviceable. I imagine as far as items go, I'll probably run leftovers or a berry or something like that a lot of the times. But, we got something here to stop the dark types, and that's what or not dark types, ghost types. I said dark types because I'm looking at the next mod, which is Persian Alola. Now, Persian Alola is here to be bulky as well. This is my dark type, so people can't just run Mono Psychic to sweep me up. Still might very well happen, but it is what it is. It has Fur Coat, which means its defense is doubled. I believe that also means it has like a fire weakness or something like that as well, but we're not too worried about that as of right now, especially with being Milotic. They're checking a lot of fire types. But what I really wanted Persian Alolan for is it is amazing, amazing, amazing lead mod. Uh, this is really helps set up mods in general. With its parting shot, which lowers the attack and special attack of the opponent and then switches out. But we also have Taunt, Toxic, and U-Turn. We have Substitute, Switcheroo. We have a lot of options for if we want to make this a lead and counter whatever Pokemon we think the lead is on the other team. Now, in saying that, this does not have to be a lead, it just is a good lead. It has good coverage options with its, big, amazing 75 special attack. Obviously, I'm going to run this Choice Spect all the time and hit big Shadow Balls and Thunderbolts and whatnot. But in reality, this isn't a mod that's going to come every week. But when it does come, I imagine it will be a very bulky boy or girl. Doesn't really matter. Or just kind of facilitate whatever needs that the rest of the team wants. For the next mon, we have Hitmonchan. Now, Hitmonchan is actually one of my favorite first generation Pokemon. If I was to ever do a playthrough of the original Red or something like that, I'm just going to go ahead and assume once I get to Sabrina City, I'm just going to go to the fighting gym and get that Hitmonchan right away. But that is what it is. As far as what it wants to do, Hitmonchan can do multiple things. One, it has good physical attack with 105, but it has really good special defense at 110. If I want to have a sort of setup sweeping type, I can easily run Iron Fist and boost my speed with the all important Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin is there for getting rid of hazards and whatnot, which is another thing that my team kind of needed. Uh, I definitely noticed in all of these drafting videos that I've been recording as of late that I don't draft the best removal. Usually, I prefer more offensive odds and stuff like that. So even if they have removal, they're usually not going to be used in that way. Hitmonchan can have removal set up and then hit you hard. It has Iron Fist, so if I want to use that to boost my punching type attacks, and then we can run Bullet Punch, Drain Punch, the Elemental Punches, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. Uh, it can do a lot of things. It has big close combat for damage. If I wanted to bulk up and hit a little harder, that is also an option. But we also have fake out, so we have multiple priority moves, and it just kind of is what it is. This is an amazing assault vest user. Come in, suck up physical hits, just sort of be around and be annoying or hit hard. It is what it is. And then for our last mod, we have Stonejourner. Now, there is actually a sort of little funny joke, speaking of Stonejourner. I think in the second or third round in this draft, uh, some coach was trying to be funny and calling another coach a sort of nickname. I don't know if that's something they have pre-set up or anything like that, but the nickname was the Journer. So in doing that, I caused a confusion for a quick, 5-10 minutes because I thought they were saying that that coach was picking Stonejourner. Uh, picking Sojourner round 2 or 3. To each their own, I guess. But that's just what I assume. Now, and then right after that, I made my pick. I believe, funny enough, that the pick that I made at that point in time, actually, I believe it was a second round pick, because the pick that I made at that point in time was Weavile, which was going to be a very good pairing with Gardevoir. It's just not the route I ended up taking. I honestly don't even think it ended up getting sniped at all. I think I just ended up not taking it in the end. But it is what it is. Uh, but having said that, and the kind of little ironic pick of taking Stonejourner at the end, or at the end of the draft, it was sort of like a funny thing in my mind, at least. But Stonejourner is here with big physical defense and HP. As 100 in HP and 135 defense. If I want to run this defensive, this is going to chew hits for days. But it has 20 special in defense. If I sneeze too hard at this on the special side, it's going to just fall over. It is what it is. I'm not having it to be a special wall. I'm having it to be a physical wall. This is another stealth rocking mod in case I wanted more hazards, or Ferrothorn isn't. While Ferrothorn is an amazing not setup, hazard mod, it might not necessarily come to every week. I could very well see it coming to every week because I'm trying to, play a more balanced play style. But, Stonejourner is here if it just doesn't want to run rocks. Maybe, I don't know, I'll have a setup sweeping Ferrothorn. I severely doubt it. But it is what it is. Honestly, I can see myself setting up and sweeping with this more easily than I could with that. With like a weird dual dance set of rock polish and iron dance, and running like heat crash or heavy slam or whatever the case may be. But Stonejourner is here. Stonejourner is probably going to sit in the back a lot. I will consider Stonejourner not a wasted pick if I bring it to more than 2 battles. But if I was to drop a mod, Stonejourner would probably be the first candidate. Uh, as far as candidates that I would want to drop, I don't know. I really like the team the way it is set up, especially with the big first 6. Um, I feel like if I was to restructure this team in any way, I would have to drop at least one of those. And I think that they have very good synergy. Um, I have, Fairy Dragon Steel, but I also have Grass Flare Water. It just declarative is what it is. I don't necessarily think that I'm going to do too good in any of my first leagues. But if there ever was a league that I expected to do good in, I guess it would just be this one, just because this is the lower tier division. So I expect if there's, going to be casual play at all in any sort of draft league, there would be casual play in the lower tier division. I mean, I'm giving casual play to all of the tiers, but it is what it is. I don't think I'm going to win this league or anything even remotely like that, but I think for this league, I could very well have a positive record, and I guess that's sort of all I want. Um, nobody wants to be defeated every week, but if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to rage quit or get mad or anything like that. Hopefully this will just be a learning experience, and if I continue doing draft league content, hopefully I'll just get better over time. I mean, if I don't, we can just bring memes to it, and it is what it is. I'm definitely not averse to just doing draft leagues and picking my favorite mons and using my mons the wrong ways just because. It just is what it is. But thank you for your time. Have a good rest of your day. Actually, before I get out of here, I'll probably put this video up before the other draft recaps, Just because I explained at the beginning sort of what I kind of want to do with the draft league, or, well, not what I want to do, but that I don't know what I want to do. Just so that there's sort of a preface. I'm recording this video actually a couple days before I recorded all the other draft recaps and the randomized tournament recap and stuff like that. So I guess I didn't have the foresight to talk about it too much in the beginning of those videos. Actually, I can't even say that because I don't remember too much of the beginning of those videos, but it is what it is. Thank everybody for their time for watching this. Have a great rest of your day, and